Hey everybody, welcome back to the World Series of Board Gaming 2022. We are here for the semifinals match of Acquire. I'm Stephen Bonacor, the Podfather of Gaming.
And I'm Brian Muller from WSBG News.
And we have had an amazing event here, going through the 16 ring events, and now we're in one of the semifinal matches, and it's going to be Acquire. Brian, you're an expert at Acquire, as I know.
I'm not too bad, but I certainly have a lot to learn, and I think these folks are going to teach us a little bit more about the game.
I bet that they are. So let's take a look at the final table right now, the semifinals of Acquire, and we'll continue. Okay, so we are here at the Acquire semifinals, and they are right now handing out the initial starting money for everybody. Brian, what is the starting money?
That is a good question.
It's a good question. I cold pitched it to you, and sorry about that.
I think it's 10,000, 12,000.
Looks like it's 6,000 because we have the amazing Chris George here in the background on the virtual whiteboard giving us information about this whole thing.
Okay, so we got the 500s are white, and the 5,000 is yellow, and blue is the thousands, and then green is the hundreds. Okay.
There we go. So 6,000 starting money.
Okay, that's just enough to get you barely going in this game.
That's exactly right. So while they're doing this, I think it'd be a good time to introduce the table. Why don't you start us off by at seat one?
Seat one is Josh, and he is the brass Birmingham winner. He had a very close match against Luca and two other people. And then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is Brent, and he is our Catan winner. And then at seat three on the side of the table by himself is Gray, and he is a double ring winner. He won both Dune Imperium and Splendor, and I believe you did that live video for Splendor on the first day.
Actually, that was not me for Splendor, but that's okay. I did not do that live commentary. I did the Acquire.
That's right.
I hate it.
But so there's only 3 players at this table, right, Brian? And how did that come about exactly?
I'm sorry?
We only have 3 players at this table. Normally, we would have seen a 4-player final.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Got my headphones adjusted better here. Okay, yeah. So we do only have 3 players at this game, and we have 16 seats over 4 to a table in the 4 different semifinal matches. But we have 2 double ring winners. So one of them is Nick Henning, and the other one is Graydon. And Gray was drawn into 2 seats, and he could choose the seat that he wanted to play at. However, he had chosen both seats at this Acquire match, so he only gets to play from one seat, but he has to play Acquire.
And there you have it. So it's going to be a slightly different game than I saw during the with only 3 players.
I think a 3-player game is going to be a lot different than the one that we just watched earlier. However, it looks like the tiles that they're drawing out of the bag are finding their way pretty close to the edge of the map, like in your last game.
Got it.
B's are better than C's, C's are better than D's.
So when the game starts up, the board is actually seated with 1 tile per player. Is that how it works?
It doesn't matter.
Correct. They're going to draw 1 tile per player, and it's going to have 2 functions. One, it's going to get the board started, but also it's going to help determine who the first player is. And I believe it's the player closest to the A row and then closest to the top of the board. So it looks like.
I don't like. It's weird.
Is it Josh that drew out the first tile?
This is the version I have.
Just because it's hard to keep track.
Oh, no.
It's already enough to keep track of this game.
So one of the other things I'd like to mention is that for the people who know the game, this game this is a classic game. It's an older game. First published in 1964. It's probably Sid Sackson's greatest design. And Sid Sackson is one of the pantheon of great older American designers. We'll be using what people have called the classic rule set, which was published between 1964 and 2015, and there have been some updates after that. And this is one of the middle printings of the game. It's a really lovely printing where there's big chunky tiles that fit onto this plastic board.
Yes, indeed. This is one of my favorite games that I remember when I was a younger kid, back when it was featured in games magazines, when they had those covers with all the games, and you try to figure out which game it was by the parts. The big plastic pieces on the cover of Games magazine was always a fun one. So we got right away here. We got a hotel formation. Looks like Brent here, and he's going to start with our designer's namesake hotel here with Saxon.
Saxon. So at the corporations, you could call them red, yellow, green, blue, purple, and magenta, and orange, I guess, right? There's 7 corporations. However, they all have names, and red happens to be Saxon. Saxon Corporation, who is the designer of the game, Sid Saxon, who I just mentioned. Now, Brent, we're getting information. Brent drew 5B. We could see that, so the other players can't see it. And he played it.
I have my 3. Collect any stocks of money. No. Did I draw a tile? Not yet.
So he's going to get four stocks.
Oh, that was. I should say that was his opening tile. Sorry about that. And then the Saxon Corporation, the first hotel chain, was then placed because 3G was placed. So we have the first hotel chain or corporation out on the board, and that is the Saxon Corp.
Oh, right. Here we go. Wow, for 3 players, we're just getting right into the action here. So we're going to get another one started right away.
So Gray is also immediately placing to create a hotel chain. He has to declare that he's actually going to do it, though, which I'm sure he will.
It looks like he's going to go with Zeta, the yellow Z. And so this is part of the game where once you get that second hotel out, you have to start keeping track of who has what stocks and how much of each. And he's gonna go to 4.
I see 600.
So one of the things that was kind of interesting about this game is right before the match, I got a chance to talk with Graydon about his memory skills. And he was saying that he wasn't sure that he was going to be able to rely on his memory to remember who had what stocks. However, he did say he does have two rings that he won at WSBG, and if he moves them around on his fingers, it might help him to remember who has what stocks.
Everybody had such a positive attitude at the WSBG. Joked around. Oh, is he? And he's wearing his ring, so that's like an intimidation factor. I like that.
Yeah, let's see if they move around on his fingers. So let's see if he holds true on his fingers.
It's just I can't keep looking like that. I'll forget everything.
So let's talk about a game turn, just for players who aren't 100% familiar. Describe, Brian, what is the sequence of flow in a game turn?
So the sequence of flow, the pace of the game, and the way players play their.
No, what I'm mentioning is what is the on a player's turn. So is it play a tile, buy stock if necessary, draw a tile? Is that the exact sequence?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you play a tile, then you if you start a hotel chain, you can get 1 free stock right once you start a hotel chain. Then you can buy 0 to 3 stocks. You don't have to buy any stocks. You buy 0 to 3 stocks, and then you replace the tile that you have along with any dead tiles that may come up as the game goes on. You may also at any point during the course of the game declare that the game is over if it meets an end game condition.
Yes, that's a very interesting thing. You, as the player, declare that the game is over, even though an end game condition has been hit. But a player may say, no, I really want to try to get another turn, so they will not declare. So what are those potential end game conditions?
So it is that a hotel reaches 41 tiles, is one of the big ones. When a hotel gets that big, a player can choose to discover that and to announce that will trigger the end of the game. The other one is that there's no safe tile placement for all the hotels have become safe, and there is no tile placement that can create a new hotel.
And a safe hotel is one that has 11? 12?
Yes, 11.
11. So 11 tiles. The hotel is safe and cannot then be acquired by something larger.
Right.
And that's the crux of the game. You try to get larger hotels will acquire the smaller ones, and they do that when a tile is placed that connects the two orthogonally. You have only orthogonal adjacency in this game.
Just have you one of these? Oh, take your finger off, and then I will buy.
Like to shout out Eugene Lee is the GM for the game. Thank you, Eugene. He is a excellent player. He also, I know that he was also the GM at the Terraforming Mars final table, where I did the commentary recently for that as well.
Yes, Eugene is a wonderful player. I've met him before I go to a con called PresCon. It's a smaller convention, and he goes down there. And I had the distinct honor this past year of inducting him into the PresCon Hall of Fame. So
that's nice. So you started to talk about, and I cut you off, the flow of the game and the fact that there are really 4 almost distinct stages of this game, or I mean, they're not distinct, but you're going to feel the game change over time. And right now, of course, we're in the early stage of the game. So tell us about what happens sort of during the early stage of the game, and then as you get to the next stage.
Yeah, I think these players are playing very well in the early stage of the game. One of the things that you notice is that you want to have a little bit of a dance around what's going to happen and not get into the middle of the game until you're ready to be there. And when you do get to the middle of the game, you want to have the right tiles. So in order to be prepared for that during the early part of the game, we want to try to play our tiles towards the edge of the board and discover what hotels are going to be out, what hotels are going to be in good acquiring positions, and what hotels do we hold the key tiles for connection to.
And that was Brent just now placing the Purple Corporation onto the board. And I'm not sure the name of that one at the moment. It's just
I think it's the orange one. I think it was Hydra.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said orange, and that is Hydra. So right now, after 2 rounds, Brent has 7 shares of Saxon. That's player 2 there in the purple shirt, Brent. Gray, who's player 3, has 7 shares of Zeta Corporation, which we should probably call out the colors on those, because I'm gonna not remember the colors and the names. And Josh has 3 Zeta and 3 Saxon.
So this gets very interesting with just 3 players. It's going to be this acquire can play up to 6 players, but in a 3-player game, it gets a little back and forth cutthroaty. Which ones are you going to try and get into? You definitely do not want to be third in any stock. Is a real bad position to be in.
Brent picked up 4 Hydra on his last turn also, by the way. That's the Orange Corporation.
I would like to buy 3 shares of Hydra.
We just heard, actually, Gray say 3 shares of Hydra, please. So now, it would be a good point to explain, well, why are we buying? What are the differences in the corporations? I mean, there are actual differences in each one of these corporations. Can you, in a few words, tell us why one would buy a Saxon versus a Hydra? Why are they different? They're just pieces of paper.
Yes, there's 3 different levels of the hotels. 2 of the hotels are a little bit cheaper in the entry point, and then pay off a little bit less when they get acquired, and pay off a little bit less at the end of the game. It's one chart down, generally $100 less by buy-in. So it's $200 for the buy-in on the bottom 2, hotel chains, which is the yellow Zeta and the Saxon Hotel, which were the first two on the board. The next tier is there's 3 hotels out of the 7 that are in the middle, and they're the $300 buy range. And those are Hydra, which is we just now got on the table, Fusion, which will be green, and America, which will be the dark blue. And then the top tier ones cost $400. They're a little bit more expensive, especially when you only start with 6,000. They're going to cost $400, and those are Phoenix and Quantum, which is your cyanish blue and your purple. So,
right. So it's the minimum share. It's the share price that is the difference between them initially, and then later payouts once they are acquired by another corporation or in their end game, how much they're going to pay out.
So I think one of the interesting plays that's happened so far is because of it being a 3-player game and players not getting contested, Brent's kind of locked himself pretty much into Saxon already. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the other players are probably going to stay away from that a bit. Another play that Gray made here is he pushed the Saxon Hotel up to 3, which I think he's thinking it will build a little bit more power for the Saxon Hotel for Brent, but it will make it harder to be acquired and hopefully strap his cash. I hope that's what he's thinking.
What you said there about the beginning of the game is exactly what's going on here. You'll notice all of the tiles are really being placed toward the outside of the board. It's those ones in the center have more points to be connected to, so you might not want to drop something in the center. It might help somebody else out more than you, so you kind of drop stuff on the edges of the board to the extent that you can. Of course, everything is based on the tiles you draw. As you can see right there from this top-down view, Gray has got those 6 tiles right there in front of him, and you can see up in the corner, that's Brent with his 6 tiles. He's actually, you can almost know what tile they're going to play next, because he put one face down. That might be the one, oh no, I was wrong. Maybe that's the one he'll least likely to play. He's got one there face down. Maybe he hates that tile. You kind of put them in a certain order in your hands.
You see the rings moving on Gray's finger?
There he goes. He's remembered that, and he's using that maybe to remember different things. Look at that. You have intel on Gray's thought process. I love it, Brian. That's great. Our crack whiteboard person there, Chris, has told us that the corporations on their stocks that we're showing you on the right side of the screen are in order of least expensive to most expensive. So you have the yellow Saxon. I'm sorry, the yellow and red, which is Zeta and Saxon, are the least expensive. The blue, green, and orange, which is Hydra, Fusion, and America, are the next most expensive. And then Phoenix and Quantum, purple, green, are the most expensive. So thanks, Chris, for pointing the organization out there for us. That helps the players as well, so they're not constantly checking the little cheat sheet. They can just see, okay, I want some of the less expensive stuff, and I know which ones those are.
I think this is going to be so we quite a bit contested here for Zeta, but now we're getting into some contesting for who's going to control the Hydra shares here.
I was almost like, that's not the same one. It says the backup.
So I was able to play the game at the World Series of Board Gaming, not in the competition, because that would have been futile, truly, for me. I was able to play it with one of the players who competed, plus 2 of the players who competed, plus myself and another person who was not competing in it. And we just played it for fun and practice for the competitors. I did actually fairly well. I came in second, amazingly. My strategy was simply, because I had no better strategy, was to pick up a lot of shares in various corporations. In fact, lots of small ones, in fact, and hope to get acquired by the bigger one. Because you get some nice payouts by doing so, and then be able to continue building back. And that's sort of the point of the game, right, where you need to have to play to, because you're going to be money strapped coming up pretty soon as we get into the next portion of the game, the mid-game acquisitions, I guess you might want to call it. But so my strategy again, I was trying to acquire lots of stuff. It's probably a losing strategy. Brian, do you have a particular strategy you think works well for you or in the game in general?
I think when I play, I do just about the same thing you do, and I think that's why I lose a lot.
That's why we're not good at the game, not sitting at the final table.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think this is one of those games where you definitely do have to concentrate and make the right into just a few things. If you spread yourself out too thin here, you'll definitely be getting a return on your money, but everybody else is going to be getting the big returns on their money. So you do have to take some risks. I think the other thing that I learned a lot from watching the ring final game is that there's a lot of strategy in holding your stock, and it's a high risk strategy. But I think that was one of the key tie-breaking moves that our ring winner did, was holding on to, at the end of the game, he held on to that quantum stock, and he was able to edge people out. But it was a big risk because you don't know if that chain is going to get started again or not. And I think that people may be thinking the same thing here, but the way the table is breaking down right now with only 3 hotels out, I think that they have to be very cautious because it's so easy to restart any other chain and stay away from the chain that you just held on to stock into. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. We're after 4 rounds right now. We've got Brent in C2 with 7 Saxon, the red corp, and 7 Hydra, the orange corp. Gray in C3, 7 Zeta, the yellow corp, 6 Hydra, the orange corp. And Josh, 3 Saxon, that's red, 3 Zeta, that's yellow, and 6 Hydra, that's the orange.
Yeah, so we're still a good few tiles away from anything really connecting here.
And Brent just bought 3 more Hydra orange.
I don't think anybody has that 3D tile because they would definitely want to play that out pretty quickly.
Which one is that one that you're mentioning? Sorry?
That one that's in between the two loose tiles up there around 3D, I think, would create a hotel chain of 3 right in a
Sure.
good spot.
Oh, it's a virtual guarantee that no one's holding that. If they are there, I don't know why you wouldn't want to sandbag that one, because if somebody played 5E right now,
yeah,
they would make Zeta connect to 4E, and then 3E would be much less useful. So if you got 3E, you want to play 3E now. Now remember, this is a 9x12 board. That's a lot of spaces. What's your 12 times table? What is that?
I grabbed 2.
12 times 9 is
12 times 9.
104. What is that? Huh? It's a lot.
108, 108.
Come on, Chris. Don't make me look bad. What's 9 times? That's 9 times 12.
All right, we are learning.
I think it's 108 tiles.
108. I said 104. Right. 108 tiles.
There we go. Good. All right. Still have some math skills.
Chris, you fell on us, Chris. You made me look like I'm a product of the poor schooling.
So this Saxon hotel is getting really, really big. I think, I'm not sure if this is going to pay off. I think that's really good for Brent. He's pretty much wide open with a lot of Saxon, and it's already pretty huge. If he can just get into some other hotel chains, he's going to be at a decent advantage. All right, finally, Josh got himself a starter hotel.
Here we go. And I'm out about information. You'll notice that the public information is what's on the board there, on the grid, the hotels. and how many shares are left of any given corporation.
The start of Fusion.
But everything else is private. The tiles you have is private. The money you have, it's private. The stocks you have are private. Josh is being very secretive. He's got his money underneath his little cheat sheet there. The little sheet in front of them it has the grid of the values of the stock and the star acquired and things like that.
So we just got Fusion just came on the table, and it's got a good central position, very close to 3 different hotel chains, and Brent just capitalized on that with 4 stocks right out of the gate. The founder stock plus 3 more. He is.
And it's Fusion is the green. Brent is in a very strong position, I think, at this point with that much Saxon, and he's now on board with Fusion as well.
What stocks is Greg going to buy? He's going to get into Fusion. So this is a point of the game where I think Josh and Greg have to work a little bit together to attack Brent's position, and the way that they can go about doing that is by cross-cutting across 2 different stocks that Brent has. So if they're both buying into 2 different stocks that Brent has, it forces Brent to make a choice as to which stock he wants to defend. So it's a bit of a hostile takeover, as they say, right?
Yes.
Right.
Let's see if Josh is up for game there, or if he's gonna
I mean, it's being recorded, so we can also check it anyways.
Right.
after.
Where'd that extra $3,000 go?
So I had the pleasure of speaking to Brent. I did a small interview with him after he had won the Catan ring, and asking him, about which games he's most familiar with, and things like that. And he specifically told me that, Catan was a game that he was very familiar with, plays it constantly now. And he was also familiar with, I'm pretty sure he said, Carcassonne and Acquire. So Brent is, for all intents and purposes, an older school game player, and he's less knowledgeable about some of the newer games. And I actually asked him, so what games are you not familiar with that you might have a problem with it going forward? He said all of them. He says, I played in the ones that I was familiar with. Everything else I barely touched the surface on. So very nice guy, and he's obviously been playing games for a long, long time, and really likes the classic ones more.
So Josh just started the Phoenix chain here, and he went deep into that. So he's got 4 shares on that, 4 shares on the, is it America? I think it's America that he's got 4 shares on. So he's not really cutting into. He's just going to go lone wolf here instead of attacking Brent's position here. And now we're pretty diversified here with the opening of Quantum. That gets all 7 on the board here.
Take 3 more.
Let's see how.
So it looks like Josh has 3 Saxon, 3 Zeta, 6 Hydra, 4 America. That's the new blue one on the board. 4 Phoenix, which is the purple one.
This is a little interesting here, I think. So Brent opened up the hotel chain for the Quantum and decided to go in 4 deep. And this actually gives Graydon a chance to get in on the Fusion. He can get a swing here on Fusion if he buys in, and he can take control over that stock. So let's see what he does here.
So you are now no longer allowed to put a tile that would make it a city, because that's not a legal play. Just so you know.
What did Brent just point out?
He said that you can't create a tile to make a hotel chain because there's no hotel chains.
Oh. Okay, that's a very good point, right? So someone couldn't play, for instance, 7I, right? Because that would create a chain. Is that exactly what he's pointing out?
That's what he's saying, yeah.
So sometimes you're forced to play tiles that may not be the best for you.
Right.
Because you might add to somebody, if everything you have, all the tiles you have, would add to somebody else's hotel chain, oh well.
And that may have affected Braden's decision here because he did play down a very central tile for little value. But what is he going to buy here?
We're getting close to the mid game. I don't know that we're still there because we haven't seen even one acquisition yet. No hotel chains have merged.
So he's going to go. He's going to go with Quantum here. I think that's quite an interesting play here. I'm sorry. He's going to go with Phoenix here. And I think
Gray is picking up some Phoenix. That's the purple hotel chain, right?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting play here because he's challenging on one of the more expensive hotels, and really he really did have a chance to get in on Fusion, and he's just letting his minority position sit there on Fusion.
I like this play, and why do I like this play? Because take a look. We have the potential for Phoenix purple to merge with America. With if 11A is played, or with what is that? That's Quantum. Yeah. If 11D is played, so I think this is a really good play. Again, this is not coming from the greatest acquire player on the planet, but Gray is probably a very good acquire player or just smarter guy than I am. I think that's a really strong play.
He may have tiles on that side of the board too that may have dictated his play as well too. So we will see.
Here's a good question: do you want to be the acquiring corp or the merged corp, the acquired corp?
You definitely in the early game want to be the acquired corp because you get that dividend payoff, and I think that's the capital that you need definitely to take you to the middle of the game. If you don't get at least one of those in a timely fashion, you will be struggling.
I'd love to know the amount of money that our players have right now. I doubt Chris can tell that because it is secret information. I doubt he's keeping track, but we are getting close to that, when cash is tight position. That's the second sort of part of this game. Cash becomes really, really tight because everyone is buying as much as they can, and then we have a cash is tight situation, and then we get to like the mid-game acquisition phase.
Yeah, there's some big purchases in those big two hotels. Yeah, we're going in.
5, 6, 7, 800 there for 2 shares only of Quantum. I have a feeling he's only buying. See, when you're buying less than 3 shares, that could be a tell also. Like, yeah. I don't have a lot of money left. I might want to save some money because you're allowed to buy 0 to 3 shares every turn. He bought 2 only. There's you can see Gray there he's got his shares in different piles. So he's kind of showing people that he's got at least 4 companies, probably, right?
Yeah, it might be a bit of a tell.
Now, at this point, it's hard. It's very hard. I would say nigh impossible, especially for me, to know which companies people have, much less, how much stock in each company. So
I think they're pretty much all in. I think everybody's pretty much.
Oh, you think we're literally at the no one's got money left stage? Oh. Well, let's see. I mean, all right, we got the tile placement, and he's not buying any shares. Brent didn't buy anything either. So we are definitely in the cash is tight phase of the game. So
now one of the other interesting elements of this game is that whoever places the merger tile, it's the bigger hotel acquires the smaller hotel. But if they're the same, the person who places the tile gets to determine who's the merge and who's the acquire.
That's a very good point. We have several hotels that are potential to acquire, and they're of exactly the same size as the hotel. Take a look. America, the blue. Phoenix, the purple. Oh, okay. He just made America a 3 now, a 3-size corporation, which would then make it bigger than the potential acquisition of Phoenix, which is the purple one right next to it. But Phoenix and Quantum are the same size. That's the teal cyan color. Fusion green and Data yellow are exactly the same size.
Every game is different. You cannot get the experience that you need
For one game?
If you're done, I am sorry.
So Brent's got a big hotel there. It's eight deep in tiles. He's all alone in Saxon. He's got a number of shares that it's hard to. The other thing that you can do is when you merge, you can trade your shares at 2-to-1, getting into another hotel, which is a good way to take on somebody's hotel, especially if it's the more expensive hotels that you're getting into because they can't acquire too many shares. But here with the Saxon being the cheaper hotel and already being bigger, and I think he already has seven stocks in that. So that's going to be, even merging into that, it's going to be hard to take that over from him.
Right. Brent's got 7 Saxon, 10 Hydra, 4 Fusion, 4 Phoenix. Gray, 7 Zeta, 9 Hydra, 3 Fusion, 4 Quantum. Josh, 3 Saxon, 3 Zeta, 6 Hydra, 4 America, 4 Phoenix, 2 Quantum. He's really diversified, kind of what I was saying that I did when I played the game recently.
Upside down so that he can
like
see.
this.
This is a new course. Yeah, he just meant like this.
No?
No? I meant like that.
Because that's
Exactly
the
like that. I got you.
Okay.
So legal placement.
Yeah, I'm
No
not
merger
buying
occurring.
anything.
You're not.
Oh, okay, I see what
Because we're all broke, baby.
they when that was great. When he played a tile, he just placed the tile upside down so that when Brent came back, he'd be able to quickly notice what got played. Then they'll probably turn it around. So it's really just nice sportsmanship. You know, Brent had to use the restroom, comes back, he can see quickly what happened since. And no one's buying, and I'm sure they all know that nobody is buying stock right now because they're all in the money's tight portion.
Yeah, the sportsmanship play here has been very, very good at WSBG.
It's been amazing.
Very proud of.
I played this tile here and took the tile.
Okay. Now you can turn face up.
Yep, and there he goes. He's going to put it the other way around.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I really love that. It's just, it makes you feel so good. And it's been consistent, right? We've talked about this. It's been consistent the entire tournaments that everybody is saying nice things about each other. Thank you for being such good players. I'm happy to be playing at this level with such amazing people. I mean, it's been really cool.
Yeah, and even so far as to even give some players some valid coaching points, like Brent here has given some players some valid coaching points here in the choir, and we had the same thing in the Brass Birmingham match with Luca, helping out all the players at the table there as well too, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it is
$5,000 on the line here.
Yeah.
Being strategic.
Yeah.
Very strategic.
You can see Brent is at a very high level in this game. Anyway, he really knows this game, I think.
Yes, I think he has a.
So Brent is leading. I'm sorry, Brian. Brent is leading in 3 different corporations: Saxon Red, America Blue, and Quantum, the cyan colored. While Gray is leading in Zeta, yellow, and Hydra, orange, and Josh in America Blue and Phoenix purple.
Yeah, I think Brent's leading there in the Fusion is the green one.
Yep, there you go.
Right. So, and I think it's a 4-3 if I remember correctly. I think it's a 4-3 which is going to be heartbreaking, I think.
I'm at the edge of my seat here, Brian, and I really want to see that first merger. The game changes in a material way once that merger happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to me they don't have the title yet to merge the hotel that they want to merge. So really, I think it's going to be a matter of who pulls that lucky tile.
I will bet you any amount of money that all of the tiles that would cause a merger are not in their hands, which is kind of, at this point, it's kind of weird.
At least
Because,
not
I
the
mean,
merger they want to.
almost everybody would want to do a merger now, unless you have like no stock. Okay, why don't we talk about that? If you have the most stock and the second most stock, good things happen for you during a merger. If you have the third most stock, it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing for sure. Explain the merger process a little bit. I think that's going to be very interesting.
The first thing that happens in a merger after you determine which hotel is acquiring who. You figure the hotel that's being acquired, everybody will reveal their stocks, and we'll see who has the most and who has the second most. The most will get a higher dividend payout, and the second most will get a smaller dividend payout. And third gets really nothing, except for the ability to do what everybody else gets to do, is determine how they're going to redeem their stocks.
Right. They simply get to keep the stock they have for a potential when that company comes back, right? Or they can sell their stock right at the current market rate. Is that correct?
Yes, you can sell your stock at the current market rate. You can hold on to it, hoping that hotel chain will get started again, or you can trade 2-to-1 into the parent stock that's buying you out, which is that's like my favorite play. But I see that like maybe the more master level players are going to try to make that play when it takes them to the lock-in spot, which is that level 13 of 25 stocks locks you into majority holder.
I think that in this case, I mean, in the current board state, in game phase that we're in, I think the play is probably to sell the stock because you need the cash to continue. And then you can make a play for another company. I think that's what I would do.
Right. Wow. Especially the way that this board is super developing here with a lot of, see how many tiles are pushing out on the board with no merger. There's just a ton of them coming out. So that might be, you might be right about that play. I guess some people might want to hold on to a portion of their stocks because there should be ability to quickly start up another hotel chain really quickly. I think that my bet here is going to be that Quantum is going to be the one that merges here first. I think primarily because it's got somebody's got a little bit of interest in all of it with the Quantum Phoenix chain here. I think that the only person who wants to merge Phoenix and America is Josh. So I have a suspicion here that Quantum will fall first. I do think, though, that whoever merges it here is going to want to control the way it goes.
Sure. So, I mean, that's the reason.
There we go.
Okay. Well, yeah, Quantum just became a much bigger corporation. It takes away that decision between who's going to merge Quantum or who's going to be the acquirer, Quantum and Phoenix, if that was going to be the tile, specifically if 11E was played.
Saxon is so huge right now. It's only one away from
4, 6, 7, 8, 10. Right. It is a 10-space corporation, which is a tremendous one from never being able to be acquired. It'll always be on the board, never to be acquired at one more. So I mean, Brent is just, he's gotten a little lucky, we got to say that, right, with his tile draws, because he's the one who's fueling that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the 3-player game is they make an early decision which one are we going to fight over and which one are we going to let go, and they let Saxon go. And
yeah, there's another Quantum.
I think Brent's going to be pretty cash strapped the whole game here, but he still is probably going to be in an interesting position because he has such huge stocks at this point. I think he's a little bit. Maybe the exposure in quantum here might be the
They-
more
I
fusion.
think they asked the judge for a count.
It is a
Oh, the
Here.
first merger. So 9C was now played, and the merger will be.
5 for quantum.
correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow.
And when it's an equals.
Choose
Oh,
which is the dominant company.
So now
oh, this is huge.
placing the tile is going to make all the decisions here.
So who's played this, by the way?
I think it was either
Brent made this
or Greg.
play.
Yeah.
So Brent now controls. Everyone has to tell how much stock they have, and Brent will say who's the acquiring corp and who's
So you're the
the acquired. So he's taking America. He's taking America as the acquirer.
Okay, and the minority gets 3,000.
That is correct.
Because quantum's 5.
Quantum's 5.
This is a pretty big payout here.
So it's 7,035.
It's at 5
Yes. Okay.
stocks and
Guys, don't leave me out.
Sorry.
Grace,
yeah,
it's only
7,000. See, so he's got enough capital here because the hotel got so big here. He may not have to sell his stocks. He can consider here. And 7,000 is probably a good amount of capital to get you through. So let's see how much he sells and how much he tries to proxy back into America.
So Brent just reaped $7,000 from that. Josh in seat
Oh,
one,
he kept all his stock.
What gives you that?
3,500. Brent kept all his stock.
Millions and millions of tiles.
Yeah, he kept all of it.
Another one.
So he's going to try and leverage his position.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to say that he is in the best position right now, especially with that Saxon. And now he's got controlling interest in the largest corp. You notice how they did that so mechanically when you play that tile that connects, you play it upside down just to show the two companies determination which one is the acquirer when they're tied, and it's obvious when they're not tied, and then you start the payouts, and then finally you flip it back over, and now you've got one big corporation that is America, and America is now safe, right?
I believe so.
It is. It's 11 spaces. It is now safe. Saxon Red is close to being a safe corporation.
Except for these two, just those three. I'm good with
So I'm a little surprised here that no one merged into America at all. And now I think that Brent's going to lock up his fusion play right here.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Well,
I'll
that's
start
just-
with fusion.
sounds good.
2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
The 10, 11, 12, 18. So my count's right on. There's 18 still there. 7 is out. He knows he's got 4, and he knows that somebody else has 3. He might not remember that it's Gray that has 3.
Yeah, Brent is playing this at like a level that I could never even contemplate playing at. He's card counting or stock counting.
So 21's out on America. So that leaves 4 out, which he knows should be founder share. So that definitely should be Josh holding that, if he remembers correctly that Josh started that hotel chain. 18 also on quantum, so that's probably a 4-3 split as well, with the founder having 4, which I believe is also Josh.
Gray is the only person that has the other 3 fusion. I've looked back at what we've mentioned before.
We just saw 6.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
Oh.
only combination I can't imagine.
Wow.
I really think he's going to buy fusion here.
I'm going to buy 3 Phoenix at 400 each for 12.
Oh, he's going to go into Phoenix. Okay. Maybe he remembers that it's Gray that has the fusion stock and has no cash to buy back in, so he might be safe for one more round.
6, 7, 800.
I think I think that's a great play. I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna look for it to be acquired.
My stock's money, I need to draw a
Buy America in the near
I
future.
know, right? Guys, we completed the all legal game actions. And it's just going to keep getting more exciting. Are you ready?
I have to pass the card first.
Oh, yeah.
When you were done, pass the card.
And then you read the card.
Yep.
Hey, talk about that card, Brian. That's as they're passing this card around. Now, why are they doing that? What is
All
that?
right, I'll try to do this while they get this merger here going here.
Oh, the merger's going. So you go ahead. Do that quickly.
Yeah, so the card, one of the things that we had to do in the World Series board game is make clear lines as to where we are in the game state. Whose turn finished, whose turn's about to start, and that I know that I've done everything I'm going to do on my turn. Because when we're playing casually at home in our board game groups, we all the time say, oh, I forgot to do this. And so we need to do extra things to fix up our turn. But the passing of the card is a clear definition that I'm done, you can begin.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a lot at stake here. So this just makes sure that people know, okay, I've done all of these things on this card. I turn it over, I pass it. The other player reads, okay, yes, he's done that, and now I can move on. So we have a merger here of Fusion as the acquirer and Hydra. No, sorry, Zeta as the one coming to be acquired.
Yeah. So I think Gray's got a good play here in that he's going to get some capital, some cash capital, but also too he's got a really good chance here to exchange into the Fusion stock and get the lead in the Fusion stock just by trading in, which I think is what he's about to do here. And if he has enough cash, he can back that up by making a purchase as well too, and just really get himself back into this game here. So he's going to trade 4 for 2, which will bring him to 5, which will give him the lead. So now he's 5 to 4 in Fusion.
That's a great question.
Now if he needs more capital, he can sell these 2 stocks. He could take the risky play of holding onto them, and I think that's what he's doing. He's holding on to the rest. So now he's got to think what he wants to buy.
Kept how many? 3. Keeping all 3. Okay. Right. Completed. Zeta disappears.
As you can see, the Zeta Corporation yellow comes off the board as the acquired corporation. It can come back if someone creates another hotel chain at any time.
Buy 3 shares of Phoenix for $1,200.
Wow.
So it looks like, and this is an approximate number, that Gray has about $2,000, Josh $5,500, and Brent about $5,800. This, of course, changes minute by minute as people are buying stocks, like Gray just did. Gray around $900 only now, but he just made a large acquisition of, I didn't see what it was. Maybe Chris remembers.
Phoenix. He got some Phoenix.
There you go, Brian.
So I think it's interesting. That's going to be very interesting because there's a lot of competitive money being pumped into Phoenix here. So we will see how that's going to play out. I personally, I've lost track of who has what Phoenix stock right now. I'm not sure who all the players are in that hotel. But it's going to be.
If we only had somebody that could, like, you know, who's tracking this to tell us what that was, Chris.
So Gray is ahead on Phoenix. So he locked down his Phoenix at 6, and that's important because there are all 3 players are into the Phoenix stock.
Right.
One of them is going to be very sad face emoji'd.
You're trying, as we said, you don't really want to be third. You want to be first, probably. Second will pay out. Third, not as good.
Brent he's got some interesting position here. With if Brent can gobble up that the Fusion tiles here, and be able to exchange first from Saxon to Fusion, he can be very good. There's only two tiles though that do that. If he has either one of those two tiles though, that's
to merge. You're saying Fusion into Saxon, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I mean, Brent would love to do that right now. That would be phenomenally big.
I'm very glad we're at this table.
No, I think they're fine.
And I think
he'd also love to see get a tile to increase it to a safe company too. He would love to get like 4I or 1G, something like that, 3H, and boom, then it becomes a corporation, 11 spaces. It'll never be changed.
They were worried about like we wanted like a lot of talking and stuff like that, but it's like the future table's not talking that much.
It's so hard to answer talking.
Gray is leading in
We're
Fusion
doing it, but that's 'cause
right now,
there's a lot of lulls in the middle.
5-4.
There's only so much you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah, I think Josh must be really concerned that he's got to get Hydra. He definitely has to get Hydra merged quickly before Saxon gets
What do you guys do?
too big. However, he does have a good position with America here. So let's see what happens here. So he just wants to grow his America, although I think he only has like 4 shares of it here. But I think he's by himself here. The danger here, though, is that when Phoenix does get merged, the trading on shares 2-to-1 here can be big. Okay, here we go. I like this play here. It's a good protective play.
What's he doing?
He looks like he's buying three sets of Phoenix here. So he's going to take his capital, and that should make him in second place on that for right now, at least. But more importantly, it gives him enough, depending on who does the merger, gives him enough trade-in stock to retain control of America when they come in. It's 763 here right now, so that kind of blocks Brent out from. He can't collapse the stocks right now. He has to wait one more play. He's got to probably match coin for coin on the buy-in here, and so that will be 7, 6, and 6 is 19 to 25. That's probably where he's looking at. Oh, he's looking to start quantum up again. That's good. That's a very good play for him. He's got that middle board position here. Oh yes, look at that play. That's lovely. Now holding on to that quantum.
Is he bringing back? There it goes.
Yeah. Yes, that's
Quantum back on the board, right there in the center.
Yeah,
He'll be owning most of the shares, most likely.
So he gets a free one here. I think that he's probably he might try to fight. He's either going to try and fight in for Fusion here, or he's going to stay with the Phoenix race. Oh, he's only getting 2. Is he that? He can't be that low in cash.
5,300 in, 4,000 out.
4,000 out, correct?
He only got 2. He had enough to buy a third stock.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Draw tile when you're ready.
Or did he buy one more quantum? Is that what happened? He bought one more quantum. He should have got one free quantum for starting that hotel chain.
Yeah, it's a good thing to mention that when you start a hotel chain, you get 1 share called the founder's share. It's just 1 extra share, and then you get to buy. So it's always nice to start a new corporation.
My old friend Zeta. Where's Zeta?
Yeah, I think right here held on to 3 if I remember correctly. So now he's back up to 4 on that. He's going to buy back in heavy on this. Interesting plays.
So he's never gonna be. Come on, dealer.
So now the way that America does its merging here is going to be significant. I really think that Josh is hoping he has that tile right now to merge. even though he's tied for second, where if you're tied for second, you get a split in the payout. And he is tied for second right now. And I think if he has that merger tile to merge America into Phoenix, he wants to do that right now because he'll control the first spot and the first option to merge across. And I think he really needs to do that.
Right at me. That one not so much because you have it to the side.
Soon, unless he feels that he's got the capital to buy one more Phoenix here. Or 2 more Phoenix. He really would like to get 2 more Phoenix because being on the even numbers is much better than being on the odd.
Yep.
I do think he has a merging tile that he's deciding whether. I don't know if he has the one he wants, but it looks like he probably does have a merging tile. He might have a Hydra expansion tile as well too, but he's definitely contemplating which tile he wants to play here and which move he wants to make. He needs to think the whole turn.
He's really struggling with this decision. He probably doesn't have the one he wants, but he has one, and he's trying to figure out, well, how much is this going to benefit me versus other people?
Yeah, he's kind of the math on how much money he'll make here. Unless he's not sure who's ahead.
Checking his tiles.
I think he knows who's ahead here. He's got to know what the position is.
Oh, here he goes. All right, so he's playing an innocuous tile.
He's not
Just
ready.
throwing
So he's looking to firm up his position here.
3 shares. Saxon. Saxon, I see as a size.
Oh, is he really?
Interesting.
Make some Saxon? That's
He just picked. He's picking up 3 Saxon.
So he wants some minority shares in that. Interesting. It's expensive. So when the hotel chain gets really big, so it's at 10 here. So he's paying $600 a piece for that.
Yep.
So it's $1,800 he paid. That's a big investment to only get a minority stake in that block. So that's where he wants to tie up his capital. And it's not. That's strictly endgame. That hotel's not going to get gobbled up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I agree with everything you just said. Why would he have done that? Well, why not invest in something where he's got a shot at being a majority shareholder, something that he'll get a bigger payout that when it gets acquired.
Right, and he doesn't have enough of he doesn't have any fusion. So even when he can't get control of it through a merger, which is
oh no, oh yes, okay, we do have an
this is huge.
A merger going on.
I see that as 6 size, and I see quantum as 3 size. Correct?
Yeah.
So fusion is going to observe quantum, so we need to show quantum shares.
And we're all Brent. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So quantum is going to be going away. That's the
Size 3.
teal cyan color. Everyone shows their shares now.
Well, let's see. This might actually be interesting. So now we got two 10-size stocks right next to each other. Everything I said might just be forget about it.
I see 2,500 for minority.
Brent is literally Brent said, "No, Josh has 2 shares." Before he even showed it, he said, "Oh, and you have 2." He's keeping track of everything. He's really playing a great game here.
Oh, it was 16.
It's a 9 out of fusion. Now they're deciding which way to go in. I think he this is the play right here, is getting as much fusion as you can here. He should have all the capitals to come right over the top on this whole thing.
So this
Fusion.
disappears, right?
Did they trade in?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
They didn't actually keep, did they? Really?
I did not see. They did. They held their stock.
This is just the difference between my ability to play this game and their ability to play the game.
I do.
Indeed.
There's one more chance, I guess. I think, or there's a few little spaces to go, but it seems like there's maybe one more hotel chain is going to get restarted, and they're banking on that one. So what did he buy? Did he buy here?
Pass the card.
America is still the only safe corporation. Will not be acquired again. But both Fusion, green, and Saxon are on the verge of an 11th tile. Saxon sat that way for most of the game at this point. I wonder if Josh was making a play for Saxon there. I'm still thinking about that, where he bought more Saxon red. Was he making a play to try to get more than Brent?
He might be, but he didn't trade into Fusion here, so I'm not sure how he can get anything other than minority on that, because he won't be able to trade merge into it. So I don't know what he's thinking, unless he can merge very quickly Hydra.
Oh, I guess I should figure out.
And then merge very quickly. I have no idea what his line of play is here.
I don't think so.
You got it?
He's in a tough spot, Josh is.
You didn't?
His only thing that he's holding on to right now is his 4 shares of America. But that is very much at risk.
It's exciting to get there. Right, exactly. Maybe said
Rest.
Believe it or not, I'm not feeling sleep deprived at all.
All right.
Oh.
Brent talking about being sleep deprived. These players, some of them have played like constant games.
I assumed you had that.
I think Josh might have a line of play here if he can start up the Quantum right now and get the founder share,
I was like, oh,
buy
this is bad.
into it, hope it gets merged quickly with Saxon. But he's just going to be the tempo. You know, sometimes a lot of times with games like this and like Terraforming Mars, a lot of it's tempo. Like who's going to be the person who's acting first right when the hotel merges and having that opportunity to make the first decision. And it seems like whatever play that Josh makes here, he's going to be a half beat behind tempo.
Doesn't matter to me.
I have no price.
That's helpful, I guess. Okay, so you know that is a safe corporation.
Correct.
I don't see any Canada.
So they tilted America on its side just to show that it is now a safe corporation. I mean, not that I'm not sure who didn't know it, but I know Brent is keeping track of everything. So America is a safe corporation. We talked about that, and we have both Fusion, Green, and Saxon very close to that point as well. And no, yes, there it is. Saxon now also becomes safe.
It's 12 tiles?
Yeah.
12 tiles. I'll buy 3 shares of Saxon.
Ooh,
Brent,
he
I'm
is
sorry,
going for
Josh is making a play right now. He's trying to catch Brent sleeping, so to speak.
Does he actually have 3 banked shares of Saxon right now? In which case he's now at 9 and he's now ahead.
By Chris's count, Josh now has 9 and Brent has 7 in Saxon.
So my math is what's off here. Okay, that does.
Thank you, Chris, again. Chris George is in our whiteboard guy here, and he's giving us all of this great information so that, well, we can watch the board. He's keeping track of everything.
That's a strong play then. He's strong position here.
Which one do you have?
So 13 you said?
Yes.
How many total shares are there in each corporation?
25, which makes the magic number is 13, because once you get to 13, no one can take that spot away from you.
Right.
Here comes the quantum play.
Create quantum.
Yeah. And so now is a
And
lot.
that's
And if
that's
he can
Brent.
merge, yeah, and if he can merge quickly and be in control of the merge, he can exchange his quantum into
Go ahead.
Saxon if it merges quickly, and he'll be in
We're getting sloppy over here.
in
man.
very, very good
Nobody
position.
wants
here.
to
The count is 16 quantum.
Thank you very much. We are fine there.
Brent did buy quantum, right? He did buy.
Yeah. Well, not
And
only
he-
did he buy quantum, he held on to a lot of quantum stock.
Oh,
yeah.
so he's got a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in strong in a position that he can trade 2-to-1 into it. I think he's 7-to-2, so if he may want to pick up one more share of it here, 6, 10, maybe 3 more shares to get to 4. That would be.
Well, he can always right. So he's got 7 quantum, and Josh has got 2. So with the 7, he could do a 3-to-1 into Saxon if they merge, right? And therefore he'd have controlling there. And then this extra quantum.
It'd be a tie, I think, because he would trade 6 of his stocks to get 3, which I think brings him up to. Oh yeah, you're right. He would be ahead.
Josh only has 9 from our best of our count. So I think that's so. And what do you do? So if you do it, if you do a 3-to-1, you do a 2-to-1, and you get the 3 shares. What do you do with the extra share? You can sell it or hold it,
Yeah.
right?
You can sell it. You probably don't want to hold it at this stage.
At this point, no.
The problem is Josh has 2 as well too, so he can trade 2-to-1, and they would be tied at 10. And now he's gonna,
That's right. That's right. 10 would be 10-10, and he probably would. He's making the play. He's got to continue with it.
but if he can, if he's the one who does the merge, so this comes back to whoever does the merge is going to be in a good. Whoever does the merge here is going to be in the controlling spot, because they'll be able to buy those last 3 stocks to go from 10 to 13, which is it. So it really a lot's going to depend upon if Josh has that merging tile right now. If he's got the merging tile right now, he can throw it down, force the trade of stocks, and then buy into the rest, and then own control of it.
No.
And then he would have firm control rest of the game.
It is creating a new formula.
Yeah.
It is just extending.
Yeah, no, that one's not taking
That's good for Gray. He needs that. He needs that one locked down.
So all of our talk right now has been about Saxon Red
It's
and
now 11 size. It's now 6.
Phoenix. I'm sorry, and Quantum, the teal. But over on the other side of the board, Phoenix, purple, there's 3 players contending. We got Brent with 11, Josh with 7, and Gray with 3. Gray is a little cash short right now. He has not been buying.
play correctly.
Yeah. The quantum payout
He didn't raise enough.
has made it so that Josh and Brent have some financial capital to work with here.
I wouldn't do it against Winder.
It doesn't have it.
But I got both
Doesn't have the tile. It doesn't know where he's at.
It's got a different choice. Just that the choice between-
Here's another very interesting thing. So there's a concept of dead tiles in the game. Tiles that can never be played because you can't merge 2 companies that are safe, right? So
Right.
tiles such as
I played a tile making this on
3F, 4F, 5F, which is being
Yeah.
covered up by his hand right now, they're all dead tiles. And in fact, 5G. So you can have them in your hand.
Yes.
On your turn, you can say, as you're doing your drawing, I believe, you can say, I cannot play this tile, I cannot play this tile, and you can redraw those back. Those go out of the game, and you can redraw back to a hand of 6 playable tiles.
And I think the tile that's most interesting because of that rule is the tile 6H. It's the one in between quantum fusion. There's a triple point tile between quantum fusion and Saxon, but it can't be played because because Saxon and fusion are both safe. So that tile can't be played. So now it's a matter of Gray, who would prefer to gobble up Quantum, and Josh, who would prefer that Saxon gobbles up Quantum instead of Fusion. So
That's interesting. Sure. So now we're looking for 5H or 7G to be played, and that'll determine, those are the only two that will determine what the fate of Quantum, Cyan, goes to.
yeah, I think we're still here on Josh's turn, right? But I believe he's still in that decision point.
I'll buy 3 Phoenix.
Nope.
Phoenix.
And he's going to Phoenix. He's going up top.
That's for 400 each.
1,200? Yeah, 3 shares.
1,200. So he's gonna go into Phoenix here. So he's confident that his position space is okay with Saxon. He's got to go into Phoenix here because he's got to protect his America stock. And that one merges. And that's a tight little race there, too.
So I think the count there is 11 for Phoenix, 11 Brent, 10 Josh, 3 Gray.
Right. And
Yep.
but really it's who plays that merging tile, because they're going to have first right to merge and first right to buy, and that is going to be very important going into both America and going in here with Saxon here. So you want to be that person that's playing this merging tile. You do not, and this goes to the beginning of the game. Did you hold on to those critical tiles at the beginning of the game?
Yep.
Or have you played them already and now you don't have them when you need them?
We're getting pretty close to the end game. We're not necessarily, well, when somebody triggers end game, but like really when people are now positioning themselves to have the best place when that happens. I think we're really close to that right now.
So he's just doing a double check, make sure he's got his math right. He's really hoping that Gray has some of the stock, but he probably knows that he doesn't.
Just to make sure, can I get one recount on Fusion?
Fusion. 13.
Yep, still there. Thank you. I will. I have not placed yet. I'll place this one right here. I'll buy 3 of Saxon, please.
Yes.
Oh, he's going back to the Saxon. Well, Josh, not a happy camper about that.
Yeah. That was the risk. That was the risk in buying into Phoenix.
Correct.
That really just turns the tides huge.
Yeah. Now we have a Brent at 10, Josh at 9 in Saxon.
With an overwhelming portion of stock towards Brent in Quantum, which really means that Josh no longer wants those to merge. He now has that. Maybe he has a few tiles up the side, and he can get up to Hydra quickly. That really is his best option at this juncture now, because if Quantum and Saxon merge, that's just
I'm not 100%
that is just.
I'm not sure what tile that Brent just tossed out as an unplayable tile, but you'll notice now he's picking 2 tiles
I was hoping it was
because one of those was an unplayable, one of those spaces that I mentioned. And there are several of them, like 8E is another tile that can never get played because that would merge both America and Fusion.
Yeah.
Both are safe.
Unintended.
I passed the card.
Alright, I'm going to play. Where did you go? This guy. 2C.
Or not 2C.
That's big.
So,
No, it's just makes it bigger.
It's just chilling, yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't do anything.
You have no one side.
buying shares.
Not buying shares.
So this is interesting. The
Josh is out of money.
The 1D tile is a game-changing tile here.
Needed to hit right there.
I don't think he has it. unless Brent's up on Hydra too. Is that really the case?
I'll get $1,000 towards it.
If Brent is up on Hydra, he has this game on lockdown.
I would take fourth happily. I didn't think I would win a ring.
My buddy was a good time.
Well, he does seem very relaxed. Maybe he knows. He's in control of pretty much the entire board.
So Gray added to Hydra, but the Hydra count is Brent 10, Gray 9, Josh has 6.
Just more caffeine.
Look, if you want to just see, we'll fight it out.
So Gray can't add. He can't get more shares. But he added to the company's value.
Yeah.
Right.
So 300 each.
I'm the worst poker player too. So.
Yes. 2 shares.
I'm an okay board game player, obviously.
Sorry, that is what
2 shares of data.
Yeah. So sometimes what ends up happening here is
Okay.
some inexperienced players. With games like this, an inexperienced player knows that like he spent a large majority of the game without cash, and then he may spend a lot of his effort trying to get cash back, but he may continue down that road when everybody else in the game has moved on to acquiring control and staying away from cash. So this may be the spot where Gray's still playing in the middle of the game, whereas the other two players are playing towards as the game is in its end state, which gives them a large advantage here. So we'll see if that's where Gray's mindset is at. Maybe that's where it has to be at. Maybe there's no choice.
5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18.
Getting a count now of remaining stock that's out there for America.
Yep, it's 4-4 for Josh, and no one else is in it. But as soon as it merges, Josh is.
So should we just merge that?
Well, it depends. Whoever does them. Once again, it's whoever controls these merging tiles gets first crack.
I don't know who I'm giving the money to. It's-
I would think that you need to. All these players need to be in control of the merge. There it is.
Merge.
That is the key tile, and that is Brent playing the key tile, and Brent's going to get to act first, and it's going to be a big swing. It's very bad for Josh because he acts last in this action, and there may not be anything left for him to do.
So you got 10. Okay, so that is majority, right? Phoenix is 3 size.
Josh does have the majority here.
All right, so he's going to get the cash payout, but he's going to get last action, which is a bit troubling for him, I'm sure.
5,000. Second.
You mean because if there's no America left, he can't get any?
Right.
Correct.
So the first thing is you
But there was plenty of America we just saw. So,
Oh, 8 of them in for 4. America's price.
10, 8, 6.
So he's taking
21. He's going to take 4 of it right here, right?
4.
And now
That
he's
was Brent.
Yeah.
You're next. You have 6 shares.
And he's got to trade for 3 here, but he's going to be way behind.
He's got to get money. He needs money.
He could cash out here. Maybe he cashes out. But the problem with money here is there's nothing to buy. Everything's expensive. He's going to cash out.
Buying into Phoenix, so I was third in the line for that. So there's no way I was ever going to do it.
You have 10 shares of Phoenix. What would you like?
Well, sure, but he can try to compete in another one of the companies for first.
He can, but
They're very expensive.
Everything's really expensive to buy into at this point. So he's getting paid out here as a 3 hotel chain, right? He's getting paid out as at $500 a share, right? But everything that he buys is going to cost him at least $500 a share.
So he's got look here goes Josh. I think he's taking shares.
Yeah, he's got to. So he's still going to hold on to his lead here, right?
Yeah. So I see. So if Gray had decided to take shares, there wouldn't have been enough. So he kind of helped Josh without
Right, because now
not trying to help him.
yeah. So now he gets 5 shares here, and then the first purchase here because it could have went purchase, but now it's let's see what happens. Well, let's see what happens. I could be wrong here, but I do think Brent is in a good position here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm going out on a limb. I think Brent is going to be the winner here. That's my. It's my expert opinion. And Josh is going to give him a run for it.
Yeah.
Gray is probably in the least good position at the moment.
Yeah.
This disappears.
Yeah. So he's up by 5.
Count 15.
Gray's completely out. I guess Brent here has the option of buying just one more.
15. Is that right?
I count
It'll be interesting to see what he does here. I think
Yep. Plus 2.
Nine.
so. Josh, maybe Josh is in a really good position here because he's got 9 right now.
That's why we check.
His next person to 3 will take him to 12.
They are 800 each.
So let's remember, what are the end game conditions? The first one that, as I see these companies all becoming unacquirable, is that if all of the corporations cannot be acquired, that's a potential for end game to be called. All being 11 or more. Right now, we're not at that, but it's starting to get there. And the other big one, of course, is if one corporation is 41 tiles big, then someone can call endgame. And remember, you do not have to declare endgame. The player who sees this on the board can say, I would like the endgame now. But they might want to try to get another turn. So they might want to say, no, I don't want endgame. We'll see. I'm going to try to get back to me to get another turn.
3,600 out. 3 shares of fusion. 1, 2, 3.
So Gray is all in with fusion. He definitely needs fusion to gobble up Hydra. His next play.
If he can, he would love to do so.
Otherwise, if he doesn't, I think he's pretty much out.
10.
Yeah, I mean, that is obvious. That is his thing, right?
Yeah,
If he could
Brent
have
too much
Hydra.
I should have kept.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Brian.
Brent just holds too much of the board. He holds very close stock in fusion. He holds very strong stock in Saxon and decent stock in America with all of the quantum stock. And if it merges in, and I guess he's holding a good amount of Hydra stock as well. So, and he's got cash. So Josh here is probably going to try to play a tile that doesn't merge anything here and try and get some more America to block it. America in. That would be my think here.
Did you finish? I'm losing track
Oh,
of
yeah,
where we
sorry,
are.
I didn't press the card. I did finish, though.
Okay. So,
Did not.
But there's not a lot of tiles that you can play. You might have to play the tile you don't want to play. It's kind of like you ever play Titan the Arena, the Reiner Knizia game, the original.
Sure, back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, and in the original edition of that game, you get down to your monsters and you have to play the monster even though you don't want to. And for sometimes for newer players in that game, be very frustrating.
Sure.
And that's a similar position here that Josh probably finds himself in, because he's got to choose the least worst tile to play. Oh no, he's got a good tile. That's a good tile for him to play right there.
Oh, so it was funny. A moment ago, before that tile was played, 8G was the only tile on the board that could be played to start another corporation, right? To bring back in Phoenix.
Right.
Now there is no tile that could bring Phoenix in. And by the way, nobody held any Phoenix, so it would have been the start of a new company. Somebody would have got the founder share, probably bought 3 shares if they could. There is no tile that can bring Phoenix back in. And as far as I know, that can't change, right? That's the state. Phoenix will never rise again. Oh, see what I did there? Phoenix will not rise again.
Well done. And I think the other thing as well, too, is it puts us maybe 3 tile plays away from the game ending. We have 3 more mergers, and then this game is over.
We're really, really close to the game being over at this point. There are not many tiles that can even be played that don't merge corporations at this point. There's most of the tiles are. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but quite a few of the tiles will now cause a merger. So people are now looking: is it advantageous for me to create that merger, or just get more shares before somebody does it?
So Josh bought into Zeta here. Interesting to see how that comes out.
Josh bought into Zeta. Is he hoping that Zeta will then be able to acquire Quantum, the two of the companies that are both small?
That's actually a good line of play, actually.
Yeah.
Because then he keeps Quantum away from Saxon if he does that.
There are two tiles that will create that merger too. That's 8I, 8H. Either one of those could create that merger, and if he's on both sides of that transaction, that could be pretty cool for him.
My last match.
There's a lot of play left in this game here.
The only small sliver of hope.
All right.
Yeah, we can speculate all we want about who's in the lead, but the end game is the end game, and it's going to be very big to watch those payouts happen.
I'll buy some Zeta. Let's get a little of that.
Zeta.
All right.
6, right?
A little fight over.
So now Zeta is being contended by both Josh and
I
Gray.
don't have money, guys. It's because I don't want to.
One is more special.
Yeah, one.
You want the special Zeta.
I think this puts Gray firmly in the lead for Zeta.
And then when you're done,
Yeah.
that's the card.
Can I just see if you both my house would be so mad.
I think the math is that he has
Do both
10.
the-
Chris could probably verify that for us.
Which one?
With Josh with
Chris is
around
picking
6.
No,
10-6. That sounds about right.
I want that.
Oh yeah, because you have that now too. Yeah.
I would love that.
Not having this merge ever was so frustrating.
Yes.
Yes.
He probably has something. It's smart for him not to do it.
Yeah.
Josh has it.
Really banking on that.
Or,
You know,
or
you
they're
know
in the
it's-
bag.
You know what's rough? So when you took this turn 1 or turn 2, I could have also made that a hotel. And that was my opening play, and then you took it, so I had to go up there, and I was like, no, I don't want to.
Chris thinks that he might only have 8, but we'll find out in a little bit on that.
I got lucky that I was able to make a city the first turn.
An 8-8 split, that would be.
I was surprised there were 2 cities the first round. That was shocking.
Unless there's 3 players in it.
So when this is going to be, when this is televised on ESPN someday, we'll have more cameras that we see everything.
Exactly.
ESPN, let's talk.
We'll have about 5 statisticians doing all the banking for us, right?
That's right. Hey, they already have done Magic the Gathering tournaments. Why won't they do this? They can do the World Series of Board Gaming, I bet.
Final count here on Saxon. He's already placed his tile here, so he just has to make a math decision of whether he needs to lock in. Is this an interesting play here? If he can afford to buy 2 or 3 shares of the Saxon or 2 or 3 shares of American, either one of these is a pretty good play for Josh. I think the only thing he doesn't want to do is stay out of Zeta. But if he has no capital,
What was the count on Saxon? 6. Thank you very much.
because he didn't have the merging tile to merge Zeta into America, which would have been.
So Brent is at 10 Saxon. There's 6 left, 16, and that gives Josh 9, right? Is that?
He does have
Nope.
9 here, but
Yep.
actually he's in pretty good position here with America because it isn't going to merge anyplace else.
But
So
he
he's
probably needs to buy the shares if he can, right, to keep his lead. I mean, he lost his lead already to Brent because he went over and he bought. It was at the time it was Quantum he bought.
Yeah. So like buying Zeta here is like buying America at double the price because you're going to trade two for 1, but the stock is cheaper, I think, still to buy that way because there's a lot of stock. So Zeta's cheaper. It's only at 6, which is putting it at 600 a share. And America is, well, it is cheaper to buy America straight up still, I think.
Can I get the loan on this?
Yeah, right. Which is a regular.
Let's see what he decides to do here.
Two
I
America.
bet I
Unless he
know
doesn't
you guys would
have.
love for it over there.
Two America is 800 each. Yeah, so that'll be 1,600, and one Zeta at 600. Six.
Yeah, so he's going 2 and 1.
2,200. 16 and 6 is 22.
I think this is a solid play.
You say 2.
I don't think I'm going to give it to Brent just yet.
It's okay.
I think Josh is definitely in the
I'm
running
just
here with this
thinking
play
out loud
right
as to
here.
where those tiles are, because it makes sense for you to play them too at this point, since I'm not in competition,
So,
because I can hurt.
when you're ready, draw a tile.
That doesn't matter.
And then when you're done, pass the card. Brent's turn.
Let's see here. Should something. Oh my.
Or just stop.
Fusion is still at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Fusion at 13 should be 800 each.
Correct.
I'll buy 2.
1,600.
Thank you.
1,600.
I will draw another tile.
So he only bought 2 fusion.
Right. So that's the end of his capital.
Yeah.
He's locking in there on the. He's locked in for his endgame plays. His endgame plays are quantum, moving out.
There goes Gray, just increasing the size of Zeta, and he's got no money, so he's not buying. We think that Josh has got 9 to Gray's 8 in Zeta.
While I'm drawing?
Yes.
I don't think it matters too much.
Nope.
I think Josh is. I think because he purchased one stock, he probably settling on an even number there. So it may be that Gray's ahead, and Josh is on an even number to trade into.
The count on Zeta is.
Here's a rules question. What if as you're drawing a tile, it's a tile that can't be.
You have to hold on to it. You can't turn a tile before you turn in all your dead tiles before you draw.
You draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you turn your dead tiles in, you draw. You might draw another dead tile, but that's the luck of the draw. Okay.
Now there is a arbitrary strange rule that if it's your turn and you have no tiles because all your tiles are dead, then I believe you can draw you can draw until you get a tile.
Yeah, I mean that's
Unless there's
a
none
really
dead.
rare situation though. 6 dead tiles would. I mean, there are 6 on the board, surely, but that means you have to have them all. Okay, we have a major merger here.
This is
America is going to acquire Zeta. Now we got to see the number of Zetas out there. Were we right?
Very-
Okay, so
I tried roll hard.
Zeta is
2, 3, 4, 5,
Zeta
6.
is 6 size, is that correct?
I think this actually
Yep.
makes very, very, very close game between Josh.
Yeah.
I think Josh is going to be in the driver's seat after this play.
Yeah, this is very, very strong for Josh here.
So your majority
We had the count right. Thank you, Chris. It was 9-8.
minority, you get 3,000. Let's start with Josh. What would you like to do with your Zeta shares? Being absorbed into America.
What was that payout there for Josh? It was something like 6,000.
3, 4, 5, 6, 6. It was 6
6 to 3. 6 and 3,000 for Gray.
Zeta. So it should have been 6,000 and 3,000.
Yep, that's what it was.
Yep. So now he's going to be able to get into all his American.
So he's absolutely 100% trading into America right now.
What is he doing? And then he's going to
wait.
sell the rest of them.
Oh, really?
I'll trade those in.
Yeah. So he took 2 because 2 gets him to 13, so it locks it up. And
Yes.
I guess
Josh has just locked in America with 13 shares. Remember, 13 out of
Right.
25. You cannot be beat. He cannot become a minority shareholder now. That's huge. The rest.
Rest of the cash, and he's probably going to buy Saxon here,
Shares, right?
which I think is going to be a really strong play.
Oh, Oh, that is big.
Is there American shares left? There is.
And Gray's just getting in a spot where he's just cashing out already.
I believe.
This has been no problem. Zeta is now
Oh, Josh is really, his vision went from tenable to really good.
So you, this is a merger, right? Mm-hmm. You can now buy shares, buy stock.
Oh, right. Thank you.
He needs to buy 3 sacks in here. I think if he misses this play, he's
3. I'll buy 3 shares of Quantum.
3 shares of Quantum. Oh, I think that's the wrong play. I think this is the wrong play.
2,500 out.
Yeah, why did he not pick up Saxon? I don't know, but I think it's a dangerously wrong play because now what he's asked for, if Brent has the merging tile, he merges right now and he can lock the game back in his favor here. Oh my. I am not sure what's going to happen. Oh, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the tile. Is he real? Is Josh really certain that he's holding on to the tile? Does he know that it's not going to merge with fusion instead of with quantum? This quantum's going to merge into fusion instead of Saxon here. He must be holding on to that 5i tile and say, no go. That must be. He must have that tile.
That should be good.
I'm really confused. I guess.
When you're ready, pass.
Okay, that's it.
Place tile.
Got it. Oh,
That fusion is slowly becoming a giant. How large is America right now?
Not buying stock.
It's obviously not 41, but it's getting up there. 9, 10, 11. About 26. I don't think anything's hitting 41. Yeah, exactly right. Nothing can hit 41. Well, I don't think it's possible at this point. No, it's just a matter of who gobbles up Hydra and who gobbles up Quantum. It's exactly what's going to come down to. I think either way, Brent is in a good position here. He's going to try and go in a little bit deeper here.
Draw a tile.
Quantum. Does he have? Josh is now 8-7 over Brent on Quantum.
Pass the card.
Card bags.
Card bags, all the same things.
Fusion is huge. Now it's. Oh my goodness. This game is.
Wow.
Taking some
Very fast turn from Brent. Places the tile, draw the tile, done.
Dregs, guys. Here you go.
He's got no money. And same thing, look at this. Boom. There goes Gray. Place the tile, just made Saxon larger, draws a tile. They're all waiting to get to the tile that's going to make the merger they want. We need 2 mergers. 2 mergers occur. We're in the end game state, and then some player may declare that they want to end the game on their turn.
I do not.
What are your sponsors on your side? Each one has a different sponsor.
I had Quack.
Quackload?
Yeah.
I think that's the only different sponsors that I was on the same. So
What was yours?
I have Game Theory Tables.
Cool.
And then the Ring People. And Hampton. Yeah.
What do they talk about here?
They talk about who sponsored the various games. And by the way, the Podfather of Gaming sponsored the Acquire Ring. And on the Acquire Ring, besides saying, Champion 2022 Acquire, it says the Podfather of Gaming.
Nice.
All of those rings are absolutely gorgeous. This is serious. They're gold. They're worth a few $100s each. Beautiful rings. And then, of course, the world champion of all is also going to get a bracelet, a la the World Series of Poker kind of thing. A bracelet also first place champion money payout.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's just amazing. Just think about that. It's for playing board games.
So he's going to make another move here for Quantum here. Does he have any cash left?
And if you sign up for next year's World Series of Board Gaming, which the tickets are on sale right now, you can do that and use Podfather as your discount code and get $40 off. There's a few discount codes that are floating out there, but you can use that one or one of the other ones.
That's a nice one.
That's right.
Yeah. So now Brent has some maneuvering to do. Brent, I think, needs the Hydra to break first. I think that's going to be the key play.
You think that's his play if that one breaks? There's only one tile to make that happen. That's 1D.
Yeah, he needs to play either 3B here or 3D. He doesn't have it. Someone.
You played 10D.
Oh, you mean into Hydra? You want it to? You want?
I
you're
think
thinking
that's Brent's play. He needs the Quantum to break into Hydra to break into Fusion here, or Quantum to break into Fusion. Whereas if Saxon acquires, I think.
Oh, I see.
Because especially with Josh gobbling up enough Quantum here, that he's in a much better position if Quantum breaks first. I'm not sure how. I think Brent has lost his advantage here, and he needs.
Josh has got 11 Quantum to Brent's 7 now.
I think he just needs to. If he merges Quantum into Saxon here, I think Josh is in large control because he has America and he'll have Saxon here. Will be large. He doesn't have enough fusion, so he doesn't want fusion to be the big monster.
Again, I'll point out that there's literally one tile to make that happen. That's 5I. So if that tile doesn't come up, and if he doesn't have it, because everybody else, other people might be holding it. Like Brent could be holding that, saying, I don't want that to happen. Our gene is separating the stock into discrete piles of 5, so make it easy for the players to count, which is very important at this point of the game. And he's actually removed the corporations that are not coming back, period.
And so at this juncture here, Josh has gotten enough of Quantum, or pretty close to enough of Quantum, to make that merger from Quantum into Saxon pretty desirable. And he has enough of America. America's large.
I think Josh is dying to have Quantum be merged into Saxon at this point. And I think probably Brent wants to see Hydra merged into Fusion.
I think that is his line of play that puts him. I think that Hydra going into Saxon here is probably not too bad for Josh.
Yep. I mean, at this point, right? It's the person who owns the most of that big corporation is going to want to see a merger, and I think we just called who wants which of those two big guys there.
I am so curious to find out if you have one of those. I almost. Are we allowed to talk strategy live? Is that legal?
There's Gray asking about, can he talk about strategy, because he was.
It doesn't matter right now. I'll say
He was interested to know who's owning what tile, right? So, or he was just talking out loud, and he wanted to know, hey, am I allowed to just talk about it? And then they said, sure, you can say anything you want as long as it's publicly to everybody.
Is he the one that's sitting on the quantum merger tiles? Is it Gray who's controlling Josh's destiny?
Maybe.
I'll go ahead and take 3 quantums. 3 quantums, that's 1,500. So 5,000 in, 3,500.
So that puts Josh in very good position with quantum. He just needs quantum to break where he wants it to break, which is probably at this juncture into Saxon.
Okay, draw a tile. I do have defunct BC. Yep. Okay. Draw 2.
And Brent probably needs Hydra to break back into Fusion very quickly here.
All right, let's have some fun. 4C.
Ooh, okay.
You
Well,
had it.
No, I just got it. I trust
Okay,
me.
I'm gonna
would've
ask
done it.
now.
I
Did
would've
you
done
have
it.
one of these 3?
I just.
Yes.
You do. Okay.
So that was very interesting. So Brent is playing and having Hydra merge into Fusion, and Gray was just interested, like that he just got it first of all, and then he was asking about the other tiles, like do you have these tiles? And I think Josh was saying he had them. I thought.
Wow, and he has 10. 10 is like the perfect number because now he can trade 2 to 1 and get every last piece of Fusion stock. This is probably the game swinger right here.
7,000 for the majority. So you got 7,000.
Oh, Gray needed it.
So you got 3,500.
Yeah, Gray really needed
Gray
that
needed
one.
to be the one in control of that merger.
Now, starting with you, you have 10 shares.
I'll sell them all for 700 each for 7,000.
Selling all his shares.
He's selling them all.
So it's being absorbed into Fusion, right?
Correct.
Interesting.
So these go away.
He's selling them and not taking shares
What would you like to do with your shares?
in Fusion.
Get as much fusion as they can, since that's where we're heading. So how much does this one give me?
700, I think it was.
Points.
Really?
So you're selling one for 700.
Wow.
700. And you have 8 shares left. That turns into 4 shares of Fusion. Right?
Oh my.
2, 3, 4. Let's go back. What would you like to do with your shares? There's 1 share of Fusion left.
So
Cash in.
We're allowed to talk strategy, right?
Well, I mean, the game's not over.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
are we allowed
You can.
per, like, is it like
You're
Catan?
you're allowed to talk. Table talk is allowed.
So,
but
6 times
nobody
7.
has to respond.
that's fair.
Okay.
He and
All
I,
right, let's make sure. Have you finished your?
well, it's influencing his decision. That's what I'm asking. I want to try to influence his decision.
I will. Like I said, table talk is allowed. If somebody wants to shut anything down, they're allowed to do so.
We are tied for fusion. If you take that, we tie and split versus him having majority because he will buy it on his turn. Because right now, you're winning. I'm assuming you're winning this. I didn't do the math, but since you guys both stopped by, I'm assuming you have 13 of this. He's winning this, but now he's winning both of these. If you cut him out so it's a half, then
Oh
I
my.
thought he had majority.
that's
that's why I've been wondering about this.
I messed that
I'm surprised you that
I've been
Brent
trying
didn't
to get
just
it so I
trade
can
all
trade
in
out
for
my
his.
thing.
Now what position is he in?
That gives me an option, finally.
Now cash these in.
Now he can't buy. Now
Said 700.
now Brent has to buy
So,
Saxon straight up, I think, here.
2,800.
Oh, I didn't like that play. I didn't like his play.
You didn't like Brent's play.
Yeah, he at the very least
Yep.
he should have taken one. If he needed one more to lock it in, he should have taken one more.
This is being merged in, right? Hydra disappears, right?
Maybe he miscounted? I mean, but he's been so on top of this. So now, both Gray and Josh have 12.
It was him.
I'm
That's,
sorry,
that's
I
the important part.
apologize. I so apologize.
Meg.
No, that's.
I'm dead.
I lost track.
No.
I should.
I have. Very, very.
Oh, was that Brent who said he lost track?
I'm guessing he did.
Oh, he is. And now he's agonizing.
He's got to be agonizing over the Saxon Quantum decision here. And I think the right play is to buy the Saxon, but he's out of position to make the merging play, unless he's sitting on that tile as well too.
Let's make sure.
Wait,
I will take 3 Saxon.
there he goes. Just like you called. He is taking 3 Saxon.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
16, so that is 700 per share.
22,000.
And he has plenty of money.
Saxon. I counted 16, but you can count again.
He needs the control to merge though.
16 I count.
18, I count 16. Let's go. So
So
2,100.
2,100.
It's 2,100 again. You get 3 shares of Saxon. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much.
Wow. I do not know what just happened here. But I think Brent may have played himself into a difficult spot.
Here's 2,100.
Thank you very
If
much.
Gray's count is correct.
I'm going to buy. No, that would save. No, I'll do that. Sorry.
Right.
I just want to make sure my math is good.
2,100 is in.
3 Saxons.
1, 2,
This is making up some sure.
And he needs that merge top.
You can see there on the right side of the screen, there are 3 exactly shares of Saxon left outstanding.
I'm gonna pass.
And I believe it's 5 shares of Quantum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 America.
Can he get back into
Oh yes. I think I should have more of these. I didn't put them in the right spot.
I might need to talk to you at a sidebar on that.
So Gray's asking to possibly speak to the judge in a sidebar, probably, I don't know, asking a rules question that would give away too much information.
Yeah, he'd probably asking if he has to declare the game over,
It's my turn.
or if he can. But I don't know if he's going to get to that situation. I'm not even sure what question he could be asking here.
Well, yeah, I mean, if a merger occurs here, the only one merger left, if that merger occurs, and it can occur with with 1, 2, 3 tiles now, you can either, Quantum can either merge into Saxon with a 5I play, or it can merge into America with a 8I or 8H play. So maybe Gray has got those tiles, gonna make the merger happen, and maybe he needs to make sure at what point he declares endgame, which would be once he's at the end of his turn, or when that occurs, he will say, I am now going to declare endgame.
No. Oh, God. It's a non-playable tile. 1D.
Yes, I'm
1D.
probably wrong.
Josh is throwing out 1D. It's unplayable. Now drawing 2 tiles.
Nope, right.
And it is Brent's turn. There's no way Brent has
So I'm definitely
that merging tile.
Which is fine. Then I buy those, so that should be it. All right, 7G, showing the absorption of.
Good.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh, I missed that one. That's the one I didn't declare.
Tiles that are illegal to play.
This is exactly what.
So quantum is being.
Well, let's see. Is it going to be enough here? Because he's going into fusion, which is all even.
Majority.
So it's just a matter of selling out stock. I think the game is very close here.
Well, yes, and end game condition has been triggered.
Got 14.
Everybody's got some stock here, with Josh having the obvious majority.
3, right?
Correct.
Quantum at 3, so I see 5,000 and 2,500. Okay.
So he's making this move here. He'll buy the last 3 shares of Saxon.
2,500 is my yearly bonus. Goes to you. That's right. Starting with you.
Sell them all back.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's selling them all.
It's 500
Yep.
each.
There's nothing to trade into, and
500 is
no hotels can restart. So they'll.
Yep, that makes sense.
2,
Can't trade in.
500. These go away. You have how many shares? 14?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, they're worth 500 each. What would you like to do?
Sell them back.
Okay.
7,000.
Yep.
I guess you still have to say that even though there's basically no other decision.
1,000. This goes away. This goes away.
I'd like to ask the players if they like the game now.
So,
Is it
No.
decision?
It can be.
It's at the beginning of the next. Or it had to be at the beginning of your
No.
turn, doesn't
Is
it?
this over 41 now?
I
It
thought.
is not.
What?
Not that I know of.
Well, all tile,
all
all
the
of them are safe.
corporations are safe.
Oh, all corporations are safe as an unconditional.
Thought it
Let me
had to
look at the rules.
Sure.
Okay.
so when? Oh, look at that gentleman who's back there. Who is that guy?
Can
When-
we just, can we just declare it?
That's Brian. Since we are recording this after.
You can notice that the game state is over and declare the game over. It
Is
does
it
not
any
have
time
to.
or at the beginning?
I thought it was.
So they're asking the clarification. Can they declare end state
I'm gonna talk to
end
her.
game now?
I thought yesterday I read on the older rules that it was.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a clarification to make sure whether he can still make the decision at the end of his turn as opposed to only at the beginning.
Make you not
But
win,
I
but
mean,
it's most
that
profitable
was
to me.
obvious.
So I think it's going to be
And so I'm always gonna play it.
that he's
But
able to declare it
all of these
over at the
tiles
end here.
decide
But he's
all of
able to
these-
buy
all the
first,
switches,
which I
and
think
if
is
I would play any of these,
significant
that
here.
Pretty much guarantees one of you to win.
And it-
So I was like,
yes.
I do not want to king make
And
it.
it was
This is my
obviously
only legal
beneficial
fish.
to
You
me.
want to complete your turn after you announce the game is
I'm
over.
going to read the entire paragraph.
Okay.
Thank you.
Under ending the game. The game ends when one player during his turn
Okay.
announces that either all active corporations are safe
I don't think it's going to make a difference.
or that one
anyway, so,
corporation
okay.
has 41. You know
Only if
that.
this is one off.
It's at 30.
A player does not have to announce the game
Right.
is over to if it is to his or
So,
her advantage.
Brent can announce right now.
After announcing the game
Right,
is over,
but he can also
the player
purchase
can
first and then
Only
announce.
legal
Okay.
files now with this play.
Wait, I wanted
I'll buy-
8I, 8H.
Yep. No,
obviously.
I wanted.
I'm going to buy
There he goes. He's going to buy 3 America.
I don't know the count, so tell me.
2, 4, 5,
He's got to announce. Like,
14, 16, 18.
why would you not announce? You're going to want to make sure you the last purchase.
They're over to 900 each, is that correct?
Yeah. So the only thing he'd be really doing here is
Obviously, best case
um,
scenario is make mine bigger.
double checking that he has minority control of this, but I'm pretty sure he does already.
That would have been devastating.
I'm not sure. I guess he's already determined that Saxon isn't going to make a difference for him.
But I secured Phoenix over here instead of buying one. I could have bought
Ooh.
1 share to secure, or 3 shares to secure Phoenix, or 1.
Did
share
you hear
to
this?
secure
You
Saxon.
called him on that. You called it out that why didn't he buy that 1 Saxon share to ensure he had
So,
control for the rest of the game? And that he just called his one huge mistake of the game. Very interesting. But O'Brien, you called that perfectly.
And then it will change everything to cash, okay? So first of all,
This is exciting. I mean, this is really exciting. We are at
Saxon.
the final counting of the money and the shares, and here we go.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
16. So the share bonus, holder bonuses are going to be 7,300. So everybody reveal their Saxon shares.
I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13.
13 on Saxon. How important was that?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you get
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
okay. So majority is 7,000. 5, 6, 7. Minority is 3,500. Right.
Correct.
So 3,500. So I'm going to ask you to give me 1,500, and I'm going to give you 5,000. Is that fair? Okay. Okay. So that is the Saxon shareholder bonus. Okay. And the size we said was 11. What was?
It's between 11 and 20.
Right. Okay. So Saxon shares are worth 700 each.
I'll
Okay.
sell them all.
So how many shares?
13.
13 times 7 is 9,100. Right. 9,100.
Math hard.
Uh-huh.
Except when I'm on caffeine, the math is easy.
At night.
I'm going to give you 10,100 if you can give me 1,000 back.
That's
Fair?
correct.
Okay. These shares go away. How many shares of Saxon?
You can see how good Eugene is here at math. One of the games that Eugene really plays really well is Russian railroads, and you just the math is just snap, snap, snap for him.
Do you guys know who won? Can you tell? Yeah. You did for sure.
All right.
I wasn't sure. I thought it was close.
So,
Yeah.
Brent got by far the most money on that one.
Yeah. And this is a little different ending than the one that we had before here, because instead of having one super large 41 size hotel here, we got 3 pretty giant size hotels here, which are cashing in. And
32.
It's over 31, right? Yeah.
and so they were 12, 12, and 1.
12, 12, and 1.
So Josh is hoping that made the difference, but I don't know that it did.
It should be 10,000 and 5,000.
That could have been a catastrophic play here for Brent here, not getting to 13 when he completely had the opportunity to do so.
So 7,500.
Now, since they're both tied, they both split the majority and minority bonuses, correct?
Yeah.
So here is
So they'll both get an equal amount of money, Brent and Gray.
Fusion, and they're worth 1,000 each.
12,000.
Right. So I'm going to give you 1,000 first to get that out of the way. You get 12,000.
Yes, sir. You had 8. Or how many did you have?
12.
12.
I got 12,000.
I needed this to
Here's
merge earlier, so I
3,000
could
for
have-
15,000.
5, 10, 15.
Sounds good.
All right.
And then lastly, we have America. 5, 10, 13, 17.
This is going to be Josh's.
25, 29, 31. Is that the county size?
Oh,
And so
Brent had a substantial amount of the stock.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13.
There you go. Josh with the unbeatable majority there of 13.
Yeah. At the end of the game, though, Brent had too much in everything.
The shares are worth 1,000 apiece. You had 13 shares. Do I have that right? Okay, so good.
Here, let me give you 2,000 so you can just keep
Sure.
I'm
And
gonna
so
count my total.
that is 15, right? And you have how many?
10.
10.
Wow.
10. So we've taken care of all the shares, and it is just counting cash.
And they're counting their cash up. I mean, Josh has got a lot of $5,000 bills there, but I think Brent has got more of them.
It is close.
65.
And
It is very close. It's close enough to regret some plays.
Well, Josh is already giving his big regret. Wait. So it is Brent.
Wow.
Brent is the winner of the Acquire semifinal game, which will now put him into the finals
Anybody wants to
Can I
take
for a game that will be determined.
Did I make a mistake?
Later tonight.
Lucky not finding a merge with
Amazing.
starting corporation.
Just amazing.
Hold on for a second.
It just got unlucky. And that's,
So-
that's
you guys.
You think it was bad luck on that side? I
Let's
think
listen
it
in.
was a mistake
And
on that
that's the
play.
hard part is when you have one that you have control of and can't merge it.
Because I was trying real hard.
Right.
Okay, good.
This is
I'm fine losing to bad luck. I don't want to lose to me doing
I
stupid
also say
things.
try not to merge. Try not to.
like I could merge these ones really early. I had control of these ones, like, and I stopped you guys from getting the money really early. I knew I had control. I had one of the controlling ones, so I knew I had control.
Oh, so you left
So you
it.
don't have to merge it yet. He waited until the size got big enough. He noticed when he merged.
Or it became,
he got
I got enough money from the other merges that I could buy enough so that when I did take it over, I at least got minority.
Gotcha.
Yes, he's talking about controlling the tempo of the mergers and how valuable it was in the early game. That stuff graded and made him cash out through most of that game.
And it is a state.
And it was a really different game and a really different end state than the Acquire Ring Final that I did the live commentary on, where one of the corps, I think it was America, got to 41 way before other corps got big at all. So that was fantastic, guys. I mean, what a masterfully played game of Acquire by Brent. He's going to move on to the final table of a game to be determined, and that was exciting. Brian, what do you think? That's just amazing.
Every single one of these semifinal matches and ring final matches has just been really exciting. There have been key plays up and down, and it really just shows the quality of players both as sportsmen and as smart, intelligent players that we have had across the board. And this is just exciting.
Just fantastic. All right, well, there you have it. Brent has just won the semifinal match. This will move him onto the final table for a game that will be drawn later tonight. Nobody knows what it's going to be yet, but that wraps it up for us. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing to you. This is Stephen Bonacor, the Podfather of Gaming.
And Brian Muller from WSBG News.
And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.